Well, let's get an update now on our postman from Stroud, Jim Newman, who's been in the Bahamas undertaking a really unusual form of therapy for his PTSD. I spoke to Jim a week ago as he was just settling in, and he was really keen to update you before he heads home tomorrow. Jim, it's wonderful to see you again now. Have you seen that I'm wearing a T-shirt and I'm doing it just to pretend that it's warm here? It's not, but I thought I'd just do it in camaraderie.
You've just cranked up the heating in the house, haven't you? Just to feel
I have. But I thought, I'm not going to wear a blinking jumper when Jim's sitting there with his little vest top on, with his RAF regiment top on. So, I mean, that's a lovely big smile on your face there, Jim. I think it's about a week since we spoke. How's it going? Take it away.
Wow, yeah. What a journey. It has truly been remarkable. The process that the deep diving does, and today is the last day.
Right.
Last day going out and diving, because this time tomorrow the suitcase is going to be packed and we're off to the airport. So yeah, it's a great day, but tinged with a bit of sadness because it is the last day. But I have felt a huge transition,
Really,
from when I first spoke to you to where I am now. It's remarkable. It really is remarkable, and all credit to Kevin and Audrey here, who run the ship, really, and getting me through, because every day is a school day here. You're learning the whole time. I mean, it's going deep diving, and Kev's already mentioned the depths we are qualified to go to, so there's no need to go into that. But yeah, pushing the envelope to those type of depths, and doing it safely, and just enjoying the whole enormity of this natural wonder, which is Dean's Blue Hole. Now that I've gone down to the industry standard depths, which allows my qualification, it's a massive wow down there. Like the topography of the actual cave, or the hole itself, is, I mean, it's got I'm going to say the entrance where you see from the sea is probably no more than 13 meters across, potentially.
Right.
And as you come in, the sand just drops down at a good angle at 35 degrees, maybe a bit more, and then you hit the edge and it's like that. But then it's kind of a couple of ledges, and then it bells out, and that's the amphitheater of this place. It's huge. And when you follow the lower ledge down along the ceiling, keeping sure you don't knock your head, and you just get an enormity of how big this thing is down there, and also the fact that when you get to your maximum depth, you've still got many hundreds of feet below you. You know, well over 500 feet of water between you and the ground below, and it's just pitch black. You just don't see anything apart from when we've used a torch, and you get to basically follow the wall down, and it's like a crinkly crisp. It reminds me of that mountain in Ohio in America, which is the backdrop for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, of Devil's Mount, I think it's called. Yeah, and yeah, you just see it just disappear into the darkness, and you think, wow. And that's the whole idea of what this is all about. As Kev, as I've seen the two previous videos that you've done, that scrubbing of the cortisol in your head is done by this big wow factor. And here are the results. We're now a week after I spoke to you, and I do notice the change. I mean, It's like when I arrived here, there was this heaviness on my chest. It's not here anymore. When I first arrived here, I was reticent on venturing out. Now, I'm sure you've been following my Facebook stories. I have been everywhere.
Yeah.
Found myself the Harbour Breeze here has all sorts of recreational stuff, and so I went off on 2 days kayaking.
Fabulous.
And went off into the islands around here in the lagoons and swam with turtles and saw stingrays, and again in very shallow water. And there was nobody there. It was just you on your own. Picture perfect. Just you able to, like Kev said again, reset yourself and get yourself back to a point where you know you're feeling great. And I've totally taken the opportunity to explore as much as I can, and put the time to good use, and enjoy what Long Island has to offer, because it's 2 weeks is not long. You've got to fit it in, and so I've done that a couple of days, and I've sent you a couple of photographs. Like yesterday, I was on the terrace just across over from my room here, and there I was doing some mixes, bottle of Heineken, and the locals here give, because normally I have somebody with a laptop, and then they're all walking past and giving me, he's got a DJ kit with him. How did he get that here?
Hey, tonight it's Jim's party, man. Everyone's coming down.
Luckily, they didn't have to hear it, so I didn't have to. So I just had my head.
Can I ask you, Jim? I mean, part of the feeling when you got there was trepidation and, a nervousness about what was to come and is this going to work for me? What's it going to be like? I mean, it's scary doing dives of that depth as well. Will I be able to do it? So there was that to get through, which you did. But just try and describe to me, how are you feeling in your mind, in your head, and what difference do you think there is there after this process of going to depth?
Because the feeling has gone, which is like a vicious circle, the ruminating of why I'm feeling like this, or what's worrying me, which then brings the more anxiety and more of the that worry and ruminating has gone. I would like to add that essentially that's gone is because I'm not living my life what I would normally be doing in the UK.
Well, that's it. You see, the big test, I suppose, will come. Yeah.
However, I would going back home in 2 days' time. Tomorrow, and hitting the ground running, back to work and stuff like that. I know I'm a different person, and as Kevin has already said, we've got you this far, okay, and it's now for you to maintain and keep the maintenance up and ensure that you are feeling good all the time, and don't allow it to come back. And I think when Kevin gave that analogy of if you're on a diet and then you decide to bin it, well, you're going to go fat again. Well, this is I now need to maintain my feel-good feelings. The cortisol's been scrubbed away. I don't expect to be getting any more horrendous events happening in my life. That period of my life is gone on.
Yeah.
And so that part of where this is all stemmed from is not going to happen again. So for me, coming back home, being with my family, cracking on with work again, is going to be easier, because I'm not going to wake up every morning automatically feeling like this is another rubbish day and I'm feeling not feeling great. So people are going to notice a massive difference. I get quite emotional at the fact that this is somebody new, and being able to go back and they can see the real person who I was many, many years ago, because it's like a breath of fresh air. It feels like I've been starved of, literally started watching, I've been able to shout out or anything. And now my head's above water again, and I'm able to breathe freely and not feel that every breath I take feels horrible. I can't, whatever they've decided, whatever they worked it out, whatever they've done, or how they've managed to do this, and over several days of diving, you feel better from it, then it works. And I am feeling, excuse the pun, a new man.
So when you get home, your children and your wife Emma, will they recognise you, do you think? Apart from seeing the good old Jim face come through the door.
Yeah. I mean, it's oh yes, I'm sure they will. I think they're looking forward to the change, because there's nothing worse than somebody coming home and looking morose and generally just not having a happy face. And yeah, we have our up and down days. Nobody can say they're on a cloud nine every single day. So we just ride those ripples when they come. But I do believe that it's they will certainly see a change.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma's said to me already in the videos that she's seen a sparkle in my eye again, and it's also been said in the comments and some of the Facebook things that people have noticed a huge transition from that. And I don't know if you've seen on my Facebook, I've put a before and after photograph of me when I was at Heathrow, and then a photograph of me yesterday, and I've put the baseball cap on because that kind of the only thing I can think of that kind of is right. If you've got a hat on, the face is kind of the same, and take away the bit of a suntan, but you can see on my face at Heathrow prior to getting on the plane, I looked blank. There was nothing there. You can see now in the photograph, smiling, and yeah, a different person.
What would you say, Jim, I mean, you're in touch with plenty of other veterans who've been in a similar situation to you. I know you discuss this with colleagues, comrades from the past. What would you say about this treatment, and what do you think needs to happen for people who've been in your situation before?
Well, what I would like to see is for this to be recognised as another serious option by the powers that be to help veterans with their recovery. And if you were to take into account the amount of money an individual would be spent on to go to, let's just say, a residential at combat stress, which I have done as well, I've done too. That money to combat stress, I'm sure over 3 or 4 weeks is easily the same or even more than what it is for me to come out here per person. And look at the effects it's had. The only downside is that this place here is never going to last forever. Because I mean, Kev's in his 60s now, and he's dearly hoping to get someone to take over from him and carry on the good work, because it's never going to carry on forever. These guys are supposed to be retiring out here, and they work tirelessly to ensure veterans are on the road to recovery. I would love to have somebody that has the power, and I'm talking government here, I'm talking things like that, would say, we need to get hold of Kevin, we need to get hold of PTSD Scuba, we need to see what we can do to help. Because what you're doing is saving lives, but investing in the people who invested their lives in protecting this country.
Yeah, and I know that the environment is a big part of what's happened for you whilst you've been there, the beauty of the place and the relaxation, the mindfulness, all that kind of stuff. But Kevin did give us a suggestion that this kind of therapy, the physical side of it, the scientific side of it, could work anywhere. As long as you've got the depth, you could do this. Yeah. You could do this somewhere else, couldn't you?
Yeah. But I mean, those facilities are limited. They're dotted all around Europe. I believe there may be just one in the UK, and that type of facility is potentially well overbooked for its use for what it needs to be done. And so trying to fit in a couple of veterans who will be using it potentially twice a day, 45 minutes, amongst all the other things that these things are designed to do I feel is where your problem is. And like we've explained before, it's that has a cost as well, because you've got accommodation, everything to do. Here, there's no cost apart from getting you out and putting us up, and a bit of fuel just to get yourself down to the beach, because you literally walk 25 meters and you're in the water. There is no boat, no nothing like that. Where if you were to do this in the UK and go out and then progressively get deeper, you're going to need something. If you can't get into those facilities, you're going to have to need something to get you out to these places, and that then incurs a cost. I mean, I wouldn't like to think how much chartering a boat or having a boat out to take several people out one day at a time. You can imagine the costs. It becomes massive. But it's facilities that are required, and I don't, as much as they are there, I think we would have very limited access, and we'd be very low on the pecking order when it came to using them, which is a real shame.
Have a great trip back, and I can't wait to see you when you get back to Gloucestershire. It's going to be hard for you, isn't it? There are going to be tears when you leave that place, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Kevin and Audrey are kind of become like a second uncle and aunt to me, and they have become very close, special friends. And I've made some pretty good friends out here as well. I met up with a veteran from the US Navy SEALs.
Oh, yeah. How did that go? Did you have fun?
Me and Martin have kicked off properly well. He's actually coming out diving with us today, so there's going to be 3 of us diving.
Oh, great.
He obviously, a Navy SEAL. He's like a fish to water anyway, so he'll be putting rings around me, basically giving me loads of banter. The fact that an Air Force chap should never been in the water in the first place. So, but it's going to be a special day today. Yeah. 2 dives with 2 amazing guys who will be always known as my close friends now. And and then we're meeting up with a gentleman this evening who is the person who maps all those caves, and he's run out line 3,000 feet into these caves. He's quite a remarkable gentleman. We was hoping he was going to come into this morning, but the plane's not here until this afternoon, so we're meeting him this evening. But this guy is legendary for what he's done in mapping out all the cave systems here at Dean's Hole. It's there are some quite special people out here who are singing the praises of this island and ensuring it's kept well and truly on the map.
And have you got the bug for diving now? Do you think Jim will see you down off the Cornish coast in the summer, where you're from originally, with your scuba diving kit?
Not a chance. I am well and truly the person who will be doing this in the warm waters of somewhere away from the There's not a chance to tell that I'm going to 10 degrees of time soon. When I know the amount of money it costs to get down to Cornwall and stay in accommodation, you might as well just get a plane, get yourself out here.
You might see a sardine swimming past you, Jim. There's all those gifts to enjoy in Cornwall. Well, take care, mate. Have a wonderful couple of days, and we'll see you when you get back.
Chris, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and take care to yourself. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Jim.